They're all in the YouTube. You should go to the YouTube anyway. That's where the majority of people. Yeah,
Okay.
see, it's on now. Yeah. So Twitch just had an issue. It's fine, Brandon. It's up now. See, luckily we're on Facebook, Twitch, and see right now, Chrissy's in there. Oh yeah, look, Chrissy's in there. Hey. On the
Yay.
Facebook.
Ah.
Yeah, there we go. What's up? So Oscar and grew up with her. So she's an old friend. So matter of fact, the guy that I grew up with, all this turtle stuff you see here, Richard, we were best buds growing up. We were the turtle dudes at school. He married Chrissy, so that's his wife. So awesome, super awesome. Alrighty. She knew me when I couldn't draw. Like, all right, Brandon.
Yeah.
Now that you've derailed the show enough, can we move on? Can we?
Yes.
Can we?
It was all me.
So if people are wondering what I'm working on right now, this is a TMNT tribute piece for Megavisions issue 9. I'm working on a lot of this, finalizing this reference stuff back here, so these are all the things I love about Turtles growing up, specifically things that I loved. Like, these are my memories. So if you're wondering why your favorite memory isn't on here, it's because it's my memories, not yours. Suck it. And then in the center here, I got my own version of April's, and I got some plushies and stuff. So we'll do that. But I have to finish up this reference stuff over here, so it's gonna eat up some time. So okay, go ahead, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's start with.
Hey, just go into it like it's your own segment, Brandon. Hold on. Ready? Let's just pretend like you're actually putting on some effort here. All right.
Nothing I do is ever good enough for you, Rob.
No. Let's see. We got the news. We got the news here. News. Sketchcraft breaking news. Oh, this is Mega Potato News. All right, Brian, go ahead.
All right. In the news today, Scott Derrickson exits Doctor Strange #2.
Wow, what a wonderful delivery. I was impressed with that.
I thought it was.
You want to, Brandon? Wow, look, I know you just ate at Chili's, but you're gonna have to put some effort in here, buddy.
Yeah. And my Cintiq screen just turned off. You son of a bitch. It's one of those nights, everybody. One of those nights. Okay. So the director is stepping down from the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. The studio confirmed it, so it's definitely true. Due to creative differences between the director and the producers and Marvel. They say they amicably parted ways, even though it is due to creative differences. So, that being said, you think he was trying to go totally different with story, or like when you hear something like creative differences, you think it's just a matter of story, or do you think it's like my way or the highway, people trying to talk like that, where it's Marvel, this is my way, and the director's like, I want to make it only this way?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, that could mean anything. Here's the bigger thing for me. Like, with this story, everyone now is like become a Marvel. Apparently, everyone online has become an expert about how things work in Hollywood.
Right.
Like, let me see. I may have to reboot Photoshop. Look at this. We're having the best of nights. Yeah, it's delaying, so I'm gonna have to reboot Photoshop. So I will talk while I do this. So what's killing me about these subjects is everyone's like, oh, see, the thing is now that they've completed their 20 movie run story, they don't really know where to go, and now they have to. I heard one podcast today say now Disney shareholders feel every Marvel movie has to make $1 billion. I'm like, what board meeting were you in?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, where that info was. What do you mean? So that every every Marvel movie has to make $1 billion. Like this is so weird. Like what people are just like was it subscribing, prescribing? What's the word I'm thinking of? They're projecting some weird analysis that they have no friggin' clue over. Look, man, for all I know, the dude was like, I want a keg of pudding every day on set, and Marvel was like, come on, man, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Last time we did that, you know what I mean? Chris Hemsworth had the shits and it didn't work out so well. Like, and he's like, I'm gonna leave. You don't get my keg of pudding. Like, I mean, for real, it's as valid a theory as any else. Hold on, folks. I'm rebooting Photoshop. So, yeah, look, it could the fear, right? I think as fans, the fear is that people were expecting a horror movie, and now they feel like they're just gonna get like Iron Man 2, you know,
Very campy.
or very campy, or just very beholden to like tying a bunch of stuff together instead of telling a Doctor Strange story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the fear. Um, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because you worry, that doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, like they're pretty good at making solo films. I think it's unfortunate. I think we're all excited that the same team stay on, and then and I mean it's worked out for Spider-Man, right? The same director.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. We're having a really fun night tonight. This is.
Yeah, we are.
Luckily, I really did this stream to capture the audio, and I don't even know how this show's turning out now, but we'll know because Brandon's going to be doing time codes. Um,
Can't wait.
so creative differences is just a general term they use for anything. It could just be timing issues. I mean, scheduling conflict is generally when that's an issue, but
Mhm.
something happened, and he ain't directing the film. Now, I'll be honest. As much as I love Doctor Strange 1, I'm not seeing. I mean, I don't know how much of that is dependent on Scott Derrickson being the director because there were things in Doctor Strange 1 that I didn't really care for, and maybe that was more Marvel than him. And one of the things was like he became a superhero super fast. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm like I could have done like a whole TV series of this origin and then get to the big
Right.
ending. You know what I mean? But the movie was good. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, I enjoyed it, especially in 3D. That whole Inception thing that they did.
Oh
So
yeah, it was wild.
yeah. But if you hear podcasters going around or YouTube pundits going around, they're saying, "Well, see, it's because Marvel or Disney, like they don't what it." And then one time they've ever taken a board meeting or any kind of meeting with Marvel or Disney, like they could tell me what you know what I mean, like what the attitude is. I mean, I have at least in my limited career sat in on licensing meetings with both companies. In terms of like working on merchandise, I worked on Marvel shirts, Disney shirts, Lucasfilm shirts before they were owned by Disney. I've worked on all that stuff. So I've at least been in a room where I can tell you creative differences were like, I was like, fuck this shit. But, I had a job to do too, so I couldn't just walk out. But, um, yeah, I think I don't know we're never going to find out what that means unless he goes to the internet and goes, here's the fucking thing. Like maybe the movie comes out that
Right.
weekend and he's like, this fucking shit sucks. Here's the script I wanted to do. And then that's possible. I think this could be very similar to the end result will be what I mean. Look, Thor. I mean, look, Iron Man 2 had Jon Favreau back on board, you know, and he's like, well, the
Hmm.
studio got really involved. I'm like, yeah, so. But the studio is really involved in every production, so who knows? I mean, I'm not swayed one way or the other. Now, if they announce the next director's Joel Schumacher, we got a whole nother problem, Then, head for the hills. It's like, well, I'd be worried about that. Um,
Right.
but I also like people like, hey man, what if Guillermo del Toro directed the sequel? I'm like, well, that won't happen because they want this shit to come out. Like, no offense to Guillermo del Toro, but he has to write everything from scratch, you know? And I imagine they're not doing that. So there we go. Now it works. Um, uh, I imagine Feige has a still list of available directors, and I would look to people in TV if you want to try to like.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Rousseau brothers were TV dudes,
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
you know, or independent cinema, you know, which like the husband and wife team that directed Captain Marvel, you know, was that in that case. So I don't. I imagine you're like the Spider-Man films. Did you know who was it? What's the name of the director? Watts? Is it John Watts?
From the uh from the not the
From Homecoming and
which
Far
ones
From
are
Home.
oh
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Spider-Man,
John
Brandon.
Watts. You know, yeah, no shit. But I know if you're talking about the ones before that with the director Webb or whatever.
No, Brandon, I'm talking about the ones where Marvel's involved. So, um, yeah, so I mean, no one knew who he was. I knew of the movie. I remember seeing the trailer, the kids with the cop car, but I had never seen it. So, but if you,
John Watts.
yeah, but when people were like, "Oh, I wonder who's going to direct the Marvel Spider-Man movie," everyone was like, "Oh, maybe they should get Steven Spielberg." Like they don't, you know, they don't.
Right.
People don't have any clue, you know. So, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, are you bummed out?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm not that big of a Doctor Strange fan. The movie was dope, but it's not like I'll be like, oh man, they're really gonna mess up the so and so story from Doctor Strange, like the ones I don't know, you know. So any director I think will be fine because I'm not going into it as a hardcore Doctor Strange fan. So
Yeah, what if hypothetically they announce they got Miller and Lord to do it? You know, then everyone would be like, "Oh, but they're just gonna make it a joke, and I want a horror." Like you're gonna see people really clamp down on this horror thing for some reason. So
right.
you know,
You're gonna get horror with Blade and Moon Knight and all that other shit. So I don't know why they're gonna, you know.
yeah,
It's a multiverse movie. For fuck we know, they could go to a universe where everybody's a fucking Care Bear character. You know, they could have maybe the
well,
director wanted to go super silly with it, and he goes the Howard Duck takes Doctor Strange on a tour of the multiverse. You know, who knows?
well,
And they're
with the
like, yeah,
Fox deal,
yeah,
everyone could be a Family Guy character for all we know.
right.
So
So
yeah, but yeah, like I said, when these things happen, first when I first heard it, my immediate thought was, is there a way to blame Kathleen Kennedy for this one? Like, you know, like, uh, I know, right? Everyone's like, oh, Rob. I'm like, well, see, it wasn't. Was it? It reminds me of. Remember in Jane Silent Bob Strike Back when they go when they're on set with Ben Affleck and they're like, "Did you kill a hooker or something?" And he goes, "Ha ha ha ha! See, I wasn't with a hooker last time." That's like that Ben Affleck reaction's how I imagine Lucasfilm casting it. It's like, "Ha ha! See, I wasn't, yeah, you know, like wasn't me."
right.
So, anything else to add to this, Brandon?
Not that one.
It's your
That is
show, Brandon. You're gonna. I'm drawing, like, so you're gonna have to
right.
move on to the next subject.
That is one of 9 subjects that I have. On to the next one. All right. Did you see the New Mutants trailer? The New Mutants trailer. Rob,
No, I heard it on a podcast in the background.
you heard it?
I'm not. I gotta be the only one who doesn't care. You know, it doesn't matter
It,
how good it looks. I'm not gonna. I have no interest in seeing this.
it looks good.
Yeah, well, I have no interest in. I'm done with the Singer universe, bro.
You're
I know.
not gonna go see it?
Nah, nah. I'll wait till it comes to like Netflix or Disney Plus, or it'll come to Disney Plus, right? So
Maybe unless it's got that weird Fox.
yeah, who knows what licensing deals sitting on that movie for a number of years,
Right.
right?
I mean,
So
it's the last trailer before this one came out 2 years ago, almost to the date. it might be the actual date. I don't know. It was like 2 years. I saw because I went to pull it up and it was like, "Do you want the one from 2 years ago or the one from 2 days ago?" I'm like, 2 days ago.
Yeah, some people were like, well, maybe it'll tie to Marvel because on the D23, some D20, the D23 description page, someone said the new exciting entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, look, it's connected. It's the new mutants. Like, dude, it's not. Let me tell you something. When they relaunch the mutant shit in the MCU, they're gonna have fucking costumes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're not gonna look like the Netflix low budget rent. Everyone's wearing normal clothes. Fucking thing. Like it's just not gonna.
Yeah.
It's the last of the fucking Singerverse stuff, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, and I just look. I'm a big Sin Cabbage fan. Big Sin Cabbage fan. Um, the Demon Bear stuff was one of the first comics I remember seeing. Actually, of all, my uncle was really into it, so like he had them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he had he had that one, and I remember McFarlane's Venom issue was it 300. So those were just and the Dune. Well, the first time I saw Sincavich's work when I was a kid was he drew the Dune adaptation over at Marvel, and my uncle was the biggest Dune guy on the planet. He was one of those guys that was like he knew the movie wasn't good, but he was like, well, he still had to watch it. And as a
Right.
and as a 4 year old trying to decipher what the fuck that movie was all about, I was expecting Star Wars or something. Like,
Right.
it wasn't even like I didn't even know what the hell was going on. As an adult, I don't even know what's going on. So.
Right.
But Brandon, you're a fan of this stuff. Like, are you excited?
Yeah. I mean, like, I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait for the New Mutants. But I saw this trailer and I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I thought it looks cool. It looks creepy. I like the look of it. The actual colors, the grittiness to it. Um,
Okay.
it has a cool look to it, and I'm excited. And it actually looks like my biggest pet peeve with all the X-Men movies ever were that when they were using their powers, they just look like they're standing there with their hands up and like clenching their faces. They're just like ah, and you're like, all right, I guess a plane's moving or a train's moving because that's all the things that ever got moved in those fucking movies, planes and trains and automobiles. But when Deadpool came around and Negasonic Teenage Warhead used her powers and her whole body glowed and you actually saw the powers, I was like, finally, you get to see like mutant powers as far as like an aura or a vibe or whatever you want to call it coming off their bodies with colors and cool things like that. So the New Mutants trailer, it looks like they're doing the same thing where when they use their powers, they're glowing, sparks, things light up on them, their bodies change or morph.
Oh,
So
they found out what an After Effects was.
yeah, yeah, they found out how to use different computer tools. So I that's what has me excited because then at least like visually, it's like okay, these are mutants using their powers. It's cool. I like
Yeah, I just
so
don't. It's going nowhere for me. The movie goes nowhere, so it may as well just be an A24, you know, little teen
like a
horror.
Joker movie.
You're gonna piss a lot of Russian bots off, Brandon. Why do you bring that kind of trouble to my show?
I'm
Yeah.
just saying movies that have no reason to be made and have no point to a sequel because it's in a universe of its own. I mean, how could you make a sequel to the Joker, right? No way they'll do that unless
I remember
money
how everyone
was
said that
made.
won't happen, and now
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna
Like,
happen.
yeah, money was made.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, speaking of the Joker universe and stuff, you know, w- the new the Harley Quinn movie, where
Hold on. We
the
need a
she
sound effect where you just open up that fucking bucket, or what's it?
like a can of worms, like a
Yeah.
can like a can opener,
I
like a
need you,
can opener.
Brandon. Here's your goal for the week. I need you to get the microphone out, and I need you to open up a can of Chef Boyardee. Something real,
Wow.
spaghettios,
Yeah.
and pour that out. You know what I
This
mean?
is
Yeah.
and this is the can of
Yeah,
worms.
yeah, yeah. We need a can of worms section. All right, so
So in that newest trailer, of which I didn't even put in the link because I just didn't care enough, of the Harley Quinn movie where everyone and their mom is in street clothes. So that's how you're looking at Batgirl and or Cassandra
You
Cain.
need
Anyways,
to back
so
up a second. You're kind of jumping to the end as if everyone knows what you're talking about. So there
I'm
was a
just
trailer as well this week for the Birds of Prey movie, right?
yes,
All right. So let me
yes.
just logically go through that. Don't just segue to the end part of the conversation because I've been re-listening to you, Brandon. And sometimes you just jump right to the end. So
That's how my brain works.
yeah, I know. Right. I worked out. I go to Chili's. I get it.
Exactly. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It just goes through it.
You think they should do a
Okay, so
commercial for a post Chili's workout? You
yes,
know?
yes, put me in. It's like if you like looking like you definitely could mess somebody up in a fight, but couldn't run a lap, come to Chili's after your workout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. Because like I wouldn't fight me because I'm definitely muscular like a bear, but then I have a belly, so it's like, well, I could probably outrun him. Let's give that a try. So that's how that went. So yeah, there was a new trailer, I guess, for the Harley Quinn movie. I don't know. I just saw some of it on Instagram. They're all in street clothes, every character in that movie. You only know it's Black Mask because apparently he does get an actual mask of a
You
black
didn't watch the
skull.
trailer?
I watched it on
Okay.
Instagram, but I
Brandon, you're
didn't like
really
pull it
cutting
up
in
on.
and out. Why don't you reset your Discord connection? I can't listen to you. You need to reset it.
So
All right.
just
Just
close it and
reboot and
open it
come
back
back.
up.
Yeah, why not? The whole show's this has been a fun show.
All right.
All right. Life. This you can always tell when a show's jinxed. Happens to the best of them. Even Campy's had to cancel shows halfway through because just we don't know what's going on. How are you all
Hello,
doing out there
everybody.
tonight? Huh?
I said hello, everybody.
No, you need to reboot your computer, Brandon.
All right then.
I'm gonna put on some music while Brandon. We're waiting for Brandon. How about that? How about that? There you go. There's the technical difficulties. The technical difficulties music. Let's see if I can. I need to make that loop. So let me see if I load this aside. Set loop mode. There we go. It'll just loop now. Brandon. Brandon. Brandon's mic's not working. Can't hear Brandon.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You still gotten weird. You're weird. Weird quality. Weird quality, Brandon.
I've restarted the computer, everything. Unplugged the mic, replugged it back in.
Yeah, you're just all. Do you
Want
still
me
have your
to?
Skype?
Uh, I don't know. Let me look. We haven't used Skype in probably a year or two.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to save. The show's fucked either way, but I'm trying to save it.
Right. I don't see Skype on the computer.
All you have to do is type it. It comes built with Photoshop with Windows now. I guarantee you it's installed. Don't worry about it, Brandon. We'll just continue. Fuck it. No one listens to these shows anyway. Right?
Right.
I blame you. Everything was working fine this week till Brandon got involved.
It's usually how it goes. Continue talking about Harley Quinn.
Yeah, continue doing your job. Just start over. Rewind. Talk. Just go from the top, Brandon.
Hey, everybody. Mega Potato here. So yeah, Harley Quinn mask, all that looks bad. So she mentions in the trailer that one, she broke up with the Joker, whichever incarnation that is, probably the Jared Leto one. So we'll never see him again. And also she mentions she names her dog Wayne or Bruce or whatever after Bruce Wayne. She's like, yeah, after that hunky Wayne guy. So Batman's still in that world. I don't know which one. Now, leads me to my next topic at hand. And let me bring my topics up so I can correctly say the director's name. I guess it doesn't matter. The director of The Flash, right, says that they are still doing a
Hold
form
on, no,
of.
Brandon, you're segueing into a whole different conversation. Let's talk about the Harley Quinn.
No, this is part of it.
The
Is what I'm
director of
getting
the Flash and Muschietti, the director from
to. Yes.
t-
Andy Muschietti
director of
is
chapters 1 and 2, right?
yes, is directing the new Flash movie.
Okay.
He confirms that it is still a Flashpoint story, as far as the Flashpoint is when the whole timeline gets reset after an event. So I'm guessing since they have the Harley Quinn movie coming out, the Shazam 2 movie coming out, all that, if they do the Flashpoint storyline, whatever those sequels will be, they'll just alter it based off of that world, I'm guessing.
Okay. One, if you're looking for any form of continuity in
Yes.
these movies, it's gone. Just replace the DC continuity with the X-Men, the Fox X-Men continuity.
Okay.
Seriously, like John Campea calls it continuity schmontinuity. Like it doesn't matter. Like everything's going to be sort of vaguely kind of works out. Doesn't matter. Just that's it.
Right.
So if you're not up for that, then oh well. So that's the way it is. As for the Flashpoint thing, that ain't going to be the Flashpoint you know from the comics. He was specifically saying, he's like, this isn't the Flashpoint that you know. It'll be some interpretation of it. The basic idea that Flash goes back in time and changes the past and it reaffects his future. In the same way that they did in the show, in the same way that the Civil War movie is not an adaptation of the Civil War comic. You know what I mean? It's the basic idea of it. So, and if you can't get over that, then it's going to be a bad year for you. Like,
Well, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't fucking make sense how a studio can just like not have all the same characters that are supposed to be in the same fucking universe, but not really.
welcome to the X-Men, Fox X-Men. All right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there you go. I mean, does it matter, Brandon?
it matters in the sense that, like, no, but I would like to see certain characters fleshed out in that DC universe. And if they're just every single movie character is its own universe, it just, I hate it. It messes with my head because you're just like, oh, you're hoping for scraps. Because Zack Snyder wasn't the greatest. He's not a good writer. Okay, he's not a good writer.
The
He's a
heck
good
you
director.
say?
Yeah, he's a good, but he was trying to have this world. He was trying to world build. At
This is
least he
Zack
was
Snyder or
trying.
J.J. Abrams?
Zack Snyder.
Okay, I'm just checking.
He was trying. Okay, he had the dead Robin suit in the Batman cave, which made you think there's more to the story. He had he had snippets of things that he was trying to build upon
Hmm. Hmm.
in different worlds. The nightmare scene where Batman is in the post-apocalyptic world. He was trying to set some form of Justice League and the whole world and everything. He tried. He didn't do a very good job, but now they're just like fuck it. They're like, we don't care in any way. Like before, I was like they don't care, but now they're really just like, yeah, whatever. What Joker's
Bro,
this? I don't know. Whatever Joker we
that
feel
that was
like.
evident when in Shazam they don't even show it's just not Cavill in that suit, you know?
Right. Yeah. It was his stunt double or whatever. I just
Well, Brandon, but look here, this is why it's fun. I've gone through all these emotions back in the day with Star Wars and the Matrix sequels and you know the X-Men movies when they went to shit for the longest time and then they kind of came back and like you get this whole wave of there's one sentiment toward a film, and then over time there's another sentiment, and then over more time there's a separate sentiment on top of that. And so with the BVS thing, it's like I had a friend the other day I was talking to, and he's like, "Hey man, the only podcast I've ever listened to is when you did that BVS review, and you fucking lied, man. You don't like that movie, and you said that movie was good." And I'm like, I gave it a 3.5. Like I thought I was being fairly generous, and to be honest, I just didn't want the shit from people,
right.
And I even have talked since then. Now I'm like, look, if I'm gonna talk about a movie, I sit on it for 24 hours. This is why when I people want to go, why do movies put embargoes after they see the movie? You should just come right out and say. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea, good or bad. I don't know. I don't know. For me, I sat in line for like several hours to see BVS early because the year before that, I stood in line to see the fucking trailer in IMAX. We all walked in and saw the trailer that was online. But we went so we could get an advanced screening. So then all of us showed back up to the advanced screening of BVS a year later. It's crazy. Um, and everyone walked out of that fucking thing just confused and exhausted. Exhausted was the word. Which is, I think
Yeah.
people even said, "You sound exhausted." I'm like, yeah, a little bit. Uh, So that's on Zack Snyder. Like when Sucker Punch came out, look, I like a lot of the visuals. You put Sucker Punch on, if you could just get all the sound effects and music, they could do a cut of that movie where that's all it was, and
Right.
it's like Advent Children, the anime Advent Children. Like I love it. I just put it on Japanese, so I don't have to know what they're talking about. The story's not that great, um, but the idea, like they had a chance at a cohesive universe, and they blew it, and people didn't like BVS. They didn't like first. It started with they didn't like Man of Steel because of the whole ending, and you can sit there and pine all you want about how well, I like Man of Steel. Fucking, I own it. I own it physically in 3D. It's not a perfect film, but I was like, this is fun. This is a good starting point. This is how you build off. And so it is what it is, man. You know.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, but it's actually really good, and I'm like, oh, but I thought you said it sucked. You know.
Right.
But who? I mean, the the saddest part about all this is say what you want about the films. They were all cast really well, aside from the dude as the Joker. Right? Can all agree that I gave that a
Disagree.
shot. I was up.
Disagree.
Hmm?
Disagree.
I was up for a Zuckerberg villain with Joker. The Jolly Rancher thing, man, like that. That's a thing where you let your
Oh,
actors.
that's Lex Luthor.
That's what I'm talking about. The
You
little.
said Joker.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lex Luthor. I'm talking about the
Right.
that particular version of Lex Luthor, which just didn't make. And here's why it didn't make any sense to begin with. The movie was supposed to be in a universe where Batman had already been Batman and he retired. But then he wasn't really retired. He had just
Right.
turned mean after Robin died. I'm like, no, he should have been completely retired. Open up to that opening, which is fucking phenomenal in BVS. We all love the opening.
Hmm.
And then he gets back into shape to fight Superman, physical shape and mental, like all, and develops kryptonite. You know what I mean? Like, and plans this whole
Yeah.
thing. But look, the writing sucked, but they were well cast. I mean, Batfleck, everyone was on board, man. You know, and that failure that lies at the foot of Zack Snyder. And I've said before, he should not be allowed to write his films. You know,
Yeah.
and now here we are with another divisive. And who was a co-writer on those films? Chris Terrio. And now here we are with Rise of Skywalker with J.J. Abrams, and who's his co-writer? Chris Terrio. So we're right back. We're right back in it. You know.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
it's frustrating, right?
it's very frustrating. It just bums me out.
1 second. Oh, my Baxter's here. Okay. Oh, Jezebel. I'm my little jealous doggy. Okay, girl. Okay, Jezebel first. I'm gonna maintain my dogs have showed up. Okay, Jezebel first. Now Baxter. Is he whining? No.
You sounded a little too. You sounded a little too enthusiastic when you said
Oh, it's a
Baxter's name.
Baxter dog. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, he's ready for his meds. Can you give him his meds? I can't. I'm streaming right now. I'm in the middle of a show. But every technical difficulty, now I got a doggy. No, no, no. I'm streaming. So okay. Yep. Thank you. Will do. I love that dog. He's so cute. Okay.
You mean you love both dogs?
Huh? Of course I love both dogs, man. Don't even get me started.
You sounded too happy when you said Baxter over Jezebel.
Yeah, I did not expect him to be up here. So pleasantly surprised.
Did you name him Baxter because of the Baxter building from Fantastic Four, or a different Baxter?
Ron Burgundy.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Which we watched last night again when he came. We watched it with him. And
Nice.
he fell asleep watching it. So I got like a good line. We were on the bed. We had the laptop on with it, and so he fell asleep with that on. So I got him sleeping and twitching, and Ron Burgundy like right behind. Still love that
Nice.
first movie. Still love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here we
Sequel.
are with the weird fucking DC movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be what it is, man. You know, I mean, look in BVS, Wonder Woman had given up on man, and that clearly is not what happened. So you know, we're in the X-Men territory where every movie sort of is vaguely there, but try not to think about it. You know
Right.
what else has also operated on that for 40 plus years? James Bond.
Yeah.
They're all vaguely connected, but try not to think about it.
Well, and yeah, and your Wonder Woman case there, she's given up on mankind because her love died, and then now the new trailer comes out and he's reincarnated because most likely Max Powers brought him back to life. So that whole giving up on mankind 'cause she lost her love, but from Justice League, but he clearly,
Well, she's also hanging out with mankind and being Wonder Woman at a mall. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah,
even
they're
before
just
that. So, you know,
they're just ignoring Justice League.
yeah, and rightfully so. It's unfucking watchable movie. I've tried several times on airplanes the past couple of years. Like, you know what? This will be. I'm stuck here on the plane. I have some alcohol. I don't have to drive anywhere. I'm gonna watch Justice League. Fucking horrible. So it's not my movie. I know some people love it. It's not for me, man. You know, it's not for me in the same way that X-Men 3 wasn't for me, you know? Or Spider-Man 3 isn't for me. Or any of the Fantastic Four movies weren't for me. They're just not. This is I don't you know I really wanted to just like Justice League for the score because they're gonna reuse the John Williams and the Batman, the Danny Elfman Batman theme. Like I'm like that's great, and that isn't really
Yeah.
So the the theory for me had always been if if they had thought it through, would have been that either A, this is the same universe that Keaton was Batman in, or B, Affleck should have just been a retired guy that comes out of retirement. Probably should have been even older, but whatever. It is what it is, man. I mean, the thing with the Harley Quinn thing that's a little unfortunate is it just feels like much like Shazam. It feels like a CW show.
Yeah.
You know, like it just feels like a bigger budget CW show. I may be wrong. It could be poor marketing. I'm gonna. We all know market. Great movies can have so-so trailers and vice versa. Shitty movies. One of the best trailers ever was for The Phantom Menace, and look how that turned out. So
Amazing,
right,
obviously.
right, amazing, yeah, amazing, amazing. So yeah, but good lesson learned on here. One, I don't do movie reviews anymore. Like in terms of like, here's our movie review. I don't do that anymore.
Right.
I haven't done that since BVS. It's a lesson I took away uh, for a multitude of reasons. One, there's shit I love that you guys hate. Uh, Case in point, I don't like it, but I liked. How do I say this? I didn't like the Turtles concert. Okay, like when we watched it on pay per view. Wasn't my thing. The shitty animatronics, the whole thing
I
wasn't.
went. I went to it.
Brandon went to it. I tried to go to it, couldn't go to it. But I listened to the cassette tapes over and over again because I've told the story before where my father did security for a Pizza Hut and they just gave him all the fucking unsold cassette tapes. So I used to
Hmm.
just give them away for like whenever we'd have one of those school like Valentine's Days or Christmas gift exchange or something. I gave everybody sometimes two copies just to piss them off. But my buddy Richard and I growing up, we would listen to it, and after a while, as a fan, you're like, well, it's not great, but it is Turtles, and you, you put it on, and you develop some odd, strange, accepted, you have some form of like acceptance over like, well, it's not bad, not great, but it is still Turtles. It's better than no Turtles, right? So, um, and I sort of feel like with the DC films, that's some of them are like Wonder Woman was legitimately really good, but everything else for me has just been in that people are just trying to find ways to like them. And I don't care if the movie's made $1 billion because the Transformers movie made $1 billion. They all made billions of dollars. That didn't mean anything. So, you know.
Correct.
So
So
they killed off your favorite Joker, though, right?
yeah, looks wise and creepiness. Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more from that character, a little bit more flashback of how he killed the Robin, just all kind of things. But it's whatever. I don't care.
My
Maybe
only
another.
the other thing with that trailer is, um, putting all those characters in normal clothes is just a big letdown. You know, it's a big letdown. And Cassandra Cain's wearing like a do rag of some sort, which I find really odd. You know,
I missed that part.
yeah, she's got like a cholo rag, like gang style. I don't know. Which whatever, dude. I mean, look, Suicide Squad, they all had the tattoos, so
Yeah. Well, they got the new Suicide Squad that'll be coming out from James Gunn, so we'll see how that goes.
yeah. So if Margot Robbie screws up her career with this, maybe James Gunn can fix it. Unless that movie's horrible, that's possible too.
Yeah, I mean I don't see it being horrible. I see it being compared a lot to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Movie
You
I
know,
hear
they're
is 90 minutes, like just a
wow, that's it.
tad over 90 minutes. So I got a
That's what
feeling,
I gotta feel it.
yeah, there's not a lot of story in this film.
90 minutes. Wow. Couldn't
It's a
even get it to
104 was the word, but I mean, it's 90 minutes. Like when they go to
couldn't even
104, that's like, well, with the credits and the NC, like,
man, that's not good.
yeah.
That's not even wow. All right. Well,
Shazam was longer, put it that way. And we
that movie
both,
had a lot of content to it, a lot of good stuff. Good stuff. Man, I hated that movie. So another thing about Warner Brothers, they have now an AI, artificial intelligence, driven film management. Did you hear about that, Rob?
My buddy, my buddy Rich is in the Facebook chat. So awesome. He's quoting lyrics from the concert, the Turtles concert. It's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, Warner Brothers has signed a deal for some AI driven program to greenlight films. Yeah,
Can you
great.
explain that for us that don't know what that entails?
Yes, this is the potato. So what this is they don't basically want to be held accountable for greenlighting movies anymore. They don't want to be like, we were not getting rid of all the old white dudes that run this ship. So we're trying to get in the blame, try to hear in the blame. So we're going to have a computer to figure out what projects will work, and I imagine different regions and areas and what should be greenlit. Um, Wonderful. We'll see how that works for them. I've been saying this for a while. Warner Brothers has really not been doing well for a number of years. Um, I don't know what's going on over there. So it would be funny if what if the AI program doesn't greenlight Chris Nolan's films? Does he get a pass? Does this only?
Right?
What if they're like, we don't think that works? I like his movies. I'm just saying, like the unintended consequences. What if it only greenlights Logan Paul or Justin Bieber films? Are they going to be
Yeah. I
forced to
mean,
make things now that they don't?
right. Is this algorithm based off popularity or what's trending? I mean,
I want to know if the Warner algorithm that keeps copyright flagging my podcast will be in charge. Because I don't know if you know, Brandon, every time I do one of these podcasts where I'm just sitting here drawing,
hmm
and it's just me sitting here drawing, and you can kind of faintly hear me breathing, I keep getting copyright struck for some German yoga album.
that's your fault. You have a very melodic international breathing
I
thing
mean,
going on.
like, first off, who would stream a German yoga album on YouTube? When we go with an Indian one or something with a hot dude or a chicken, you know what I mean? Like the very Swayze yoga. Like Swayze had to do a yoga album, right? Back in the day, had to have.
Psh, I don't know. Before my time, bro.
Oh, that's right. You're a millennial. Like literally, like not generic term. So, um, yeah. So I don't. I mean, what is that? When you hear these stories, what do they mean to you, Brandon? Do you just
It it just it doesn't sound like a lot of creative people are in a room making creative decisions. It just sounds like an easy cop out. Like,
like what are they getting paid for? Because
right,
I'll take their paycheck and just submit scripts, shove it in the computer, and I mean,
right.
isn't that their job? Isn't that why they always say why they got paid millions of dollars? It's because they had to make the decisions. Now, I imagine this is coming to T-shirts soon too.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so in T-shirts, like for the longest time, there used to be how it worked was when a T-shirt ended up at Walmart or Target was there was a buyer, and the buyer would pick from all your materials you submit, and they would choose what's on the floor. But they didn't want to lose their jobs. So around 2000, between 2005 2015, around there, it turned into well, you put what you think will work, and if it doesn't work, then you lose your spot on the floor. You know, and they keep their job. And it was always like, well, how am I supposed to know what sell? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like they know their
Right.
customer how it's, but that's so fucking crazy. So now this sounds a lot like that to me. Like they're tired of losing their jobs, they're getting held accountable for shit. But I've always said, well, if they're not gonna, the buyer's not gonna do their job, can when it works, can we reap the rewards? Like when a shirt
Right.
sells, can we all get the millions of dollars in bonuses based on what we pick? Because they're gonna collect those bonuses.
Yeah.
So this is so yeah. And I imagine like that's how it'll be with shirts is they'll just plug in these. Well, what's trending? Look, the one thing I learned from T-shirts, man, is really bad idea to rely on trending for business. Sometimes you just want a cool shirt, and it's chilled out the past few years. If you've noticed, you go into stores, Brandon, there's some, this is. Remember, it used to always be things like every day I'm shuffling and shit like that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Rob's a tool of the Russian mob. It's true. Um, so it's chilled out the past few years because every time, ever since I started with the honey badger guy. So anytime one of these little things goes viral, rightfully so, these people who put something up, they trademark it. So it can't end up generically ripped off on a T-shirt at Target.
Who's the honey badger? Because your definition of a honey badger guy and my definition of honey badger guy are two
It's the
different
honey
people.
badger video. Honey badger don't know shit. Don't give a fuck. You remember the honey badger video years
No,
ago?
the only honey badger I know is the professional football player that goes by honey badger.
Okay, it's because of this video that came out years ago. It was like one of those, like the documentary videos.
Okay.
They voice over. It was like, remember that guy who hides your kids, hides your wife?
Yep.
He sounded kind of like that dude. May even be that guy. I don't know, but they had like kind of that thing going on, and it was like a documentary video about the honey badger. And he was like, "Honey badgers don't give a shit, man. Fuck, fuck this, fuck, oh fuck that, fuck this." So like that's where it started. But the honey badger dude, got smart and trademarked that shit to stop it. So all the honey badger knockoff shirts we had in production, and believe me, there was a grip, Wolverine, you know, all sorts of stupid shit got put on hold or canceled. So because of this, so I imagine, so that's why a lot of T-shirts now have just been like '90s imagery. I couldn't just do Larson's shirt. I did that Larson Spider-Man shirt, and believe me, they wanted some fucking like slogan or something on there, And it happened right around that time, so I was able to be like, well, it's got the photorealistic city, and that was like a trend at the time, photorealistic
Hmm.
cities with drawn characters. So I was able to show that that was the trend. But look, trends don't work great long term. They're a short gimmick that people get tired of these days quicker than ever. I mean, something's popular. I mean, some things like Baby Yoda, they make it, but you know what I mean? Like, most often than not, some little trend happens, Brandon. You follow trends, right? You're all in that
Hmm.
stupid shit. So within
Thanks.
24 hours, you're like, shit's over. You got anything to add, Brandon?
No, I agree. I mean, I don't buy a lot of clothing. It's rare, and when I do, if I go to Target or whatnot, a lot of the shirts I don't like. The only thing I like is like if someone takes like you're talking about, where they take like a piece of Jim Lee art from the '90s or something, and then you know, uh, not distracts. What's the word? Distress is it. Looks cool. I like it. Um, but I follow trends, but I don't like them. I don't have to like them. I just like knowing what's going on as far as trends, and I look at it. But I feel like that's what what you're saying is that's probably what the movies are going to go with. What's trending? What's cool?
Well, they've
What's
always done it, but now what I'm trying to say is this AI thing could move to shirts where everything that's creative gets put off on some algorithm that just completely, tells you what's trending as a sign. But the problem is movies take so long by the time it comes out that's not going to work. So
yeah.
I wonder if this is it doesn't get very specific. So it's like I wonder if this has to do with like, well, we don't know if this actor would play well in China or if this Chinese actor would play well in Missouri. So we'll let the computer actually figure it out. But yeah, good luck. Suffice
Right.
to say, it won't work. I guarantee you. Like it's just not. It's not gonna work. It's just the computer stuff is just the AI driven decision making things. We all thought it would be Skynet, but turns out it's out to fuck our movies. Yeah, nuclear
Right.
war where that shit still run on tape decks and floppy
Yeah.
disks, but your movies are hosed.
Do you now when it does flop, they're just going to be like, yeah, it just didn't work out, or you think they'll just
They'll just be like, we didn't renew the contract.
that's it? It's weak. Just weak.
Richard's right. He's like, dude, we used to listen to cable radio blues, and he'd eat my
Cable
work.
radio blues.
Yeah, so before the internet was big, there was this thing called cable radio. We had it in San Diego, and it was you had a separate box. And my dad was always cool for buying this kind of shit because it meant I never left the house. He would never let me go anywhere, so he's like, "Sure, buy more stuff, or you just don't leave the house." So it would be this box, and you could just play uh, CD quality music, and they had stations like a pre-Sirius, like satellite radio. Before satellite radio was a thing called cable radio. No
Okay.
commercials, and it was so. And I listened to things like the blues and instrumental music, and so we would he'd come over to my house and he'd eat my art, and we'd eat spaghetti and play video games and listen to fucking cable radio. It was like the only time I really listened to like music was on that, but that that was just a precursor to satellite radio or Pandora or any of these other Spotify's, whatever you listen to.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard of that, but
Yeah.
I'm a millennial, so sounds cool, guys. Let's do it at the car hop.
Hmm. I don't know why you got blocked on YouTube. I didn't block you. I don't block. The only thing I block is I would never block Richard. Um, the only thing I've ever blocked on YouTube is some spam bots.
Right.
So,
I blocked you, Richard. You've been blocked.
mm, yeah. Um, what was I saying with that? So, no, what they'll do is they just won't renew the contract, and you won't hear about it again for at least 10 years.
Oh wow.
And then it'll come back. It'll come back.
All right. Next topic. I guess we can keep it on movies for right now. Do you want to talk any of the Star Wars rumors or no? You know what I mean. Do you want to talk about it
So
or
we get that sound of the can of worms being open.
right? That's what I mean. I had it in there before we had discussed it off air, so it was already in my topics.
Yeah,
So
sure, bring it up. What do I care?
okay, so rumors are the new Star Wars movies, the new series are going to be called based off the High Republic, which has a very young Yoda and a character called Darth Bane. Did you hear about this, Rob?
Yeah, so there's a guy I follow. His name is Jason Ward. He has a website called MakingStarWars.net. I've been following him for a few years now. Um, and he's really well connected. Like his inside scoops are he hits in the high 90s.
Oh
His
wow.
podcast is hilarious to listen to because his humor, he's very juvenile. So
Hmm.
if you want to pretend, it's like hanging out with your 12-year-old self, but you're a grown adult. So it's fun.
What was
They
his name
actually
one more
read their,
time?
huh?
What was his name one more time?
Jason Ward.
Jason Ward. Okay.
Yeah. So he's a good dude, and it's funny they actually read their negative reviews. And have fun. Like they're like, yeah, this is. They're like this. They believe their negative reviews speak accurately for their show. So making Star Wars done it. So he has a lot of he always has inside shit, dude. I mean, he's had everything. So he had the whole story for Rise of Skywalker like about a year out, and it goes back years and years. One of the scoops he had a year ago was it's like hanging out with you. Yeah, Rich, it's kind of like that. Um, was he's the one who broke Carl Weathers would be in the Mandalorian. So
Oh wow.
he's out in LA, and so right now he's if you follow his site, he's actually at he knows where they're filming all the Mando stuff. So like last year he was out there filming filming Mando 1. He actually had John Favreau and Dave Filoni looking at him, and he waved and shit. It was hilarious. So he's out there now shooting stuff where they're filming Mando series, season 2. So the code name for season 2 is Huckleberry. So whenever this goes back to Return of the Jedi, anytime they film something, they give it a code name, and that's generally one, so people don't go Star Wars is filming here, and a million people show up. But also, they don't want hotels to jack up the price for shit like that. Just anything like
Right.
catering, whatever. It's just a way. So with Star Wars, it was called Return of the Jedi was called Blue Harvest, right? Was the name. and so this the code name here is Huckleberry, and every one of these things has a code name. But some security guy was like bugging him the other day, and he's like, "Well, I'm here because they're filming this Star Wars, you know." And the guy
Right.
goes, "Star Wars just came out. There ain't no more Star Wars. They filming Huckleberry, you know." Like, and it was just like that. It was like right in your face. Now, man, they filming Huckleberry, like. And you're looking right at the science fiction background. You know, you look at the same
Yeah, yeah,
sets, TIE fighter wings and shit. You're like, no, they're not filming Huckleberry. Like, it's hilarious. So,
that's
Blue
funny.
Harvest was Return of the Jedi. It was horror beyond imagination, and it's because when they were shooting Empire, they just called it Empire, and they went over budget in a lot of places because hotels would jack up all the prices for hotels and shit. I highly recommend if you want to find out, but really get a good in detail look on the making of the original trilogy. Please go read Rinsler's J.W. Rinsler. He did these books on all three. They're not cheap, but they're super in depth. Um, and he did an equally impressive book on The Force Awakens, which Disney shelved. So one day
Sounds about
maybe Rinsler that book will come out. So you want to know what I think about the High Republic? Sorry, the
right.
High
You know.
Republic stuff. So he's probably right. Um, high 90s, I'd put that they're developing. So they said this months ago that like
Uh-huh.
Feige was going to produce a standalone Star Wars movie, and they had talked that you know the movies that DB and Weiss were Benioff and Weiss were working on, the Game of Thrones guys, were not going to be a trilogy per se, but could be a series of films. So what they want to do is create a time period in which they can do interconnected stories that is has an original trilogy vibe on some level, or a mixture of original trilogy and prequel stuff, so they can cater to both audiences, but not be bound to the three movie structure.
Uh-huh.
So that's that. I imagine, and then they're calling it High Republic because it's supposed to take place 400 years before Star Wars, A New Hope. So I believe that that's accurate. Um, I do. So I can't prove it, but I believe that to be true. We'll see. I mean, it's what they need to do. They need to. The You can't do the Marvel. Imagine doing all the Marvel movies as just one trilogy of films. Like, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like after Lord of the Rings, do I speculate what a movie? No, we just talk about shit while I draw. There's nothing else to do, man. I'm stuck here for hours. So, um,
And I'm stuck here by.
and I make Brandon do shit, so he's stuck here. So I'm actually, yeah, I could just be drawing and not talking. That's always an option. So, but
Or you were saying.
I know, right? So, what was I saying? So yeah, the trilogy thing, it was done. Lord of the Rings, sort of. That's it. Like, and the Matrix movies kind of came around the same time, and that didn't work at all. So we just we're demanding more now. I mean, you get a season of TV or 3 seasons of TV. I mean, look at the Daredevil show, right? I mean, it's awesome. You can't tell that just all that shit between all 3 seasons and like 3 movies. You know,
Right.
can't do it. So they got to find a way. I believe that's them trying to find a way. How soon they will admit that is the real question. So that's the question. Rich, no, I stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch at the same time. So these give views. They give views simultaneously. So I mean, when you hear this stuff, Brandon, I mean, you're more of a peripheral, right? You'd say you like certain Star Wars things,
Yeah, I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so it doesn't affect me in any way. When they're like, "Yeah, this, that," I'm like, "All right, cool. Hopefully the movie's good." I wasn't really I'll put it this way: if I had to just choose two Star Wars movies that I like, because that's pretty much all I do is like two movies, it's Rogue One and Force Awakens for two different reasons. Rogue One I thought was a beautiful movie, well directed. You knew what was going to happen at the end, more or less, but it was still like surprises and cool shit. When they're on the beach and those AT things are walking by, it felt like you really were there. So I love that movie as what it is. And Force Awakens, I just thought was badass. Kylo Ren was badass. The colors, the look, all that. The one after, and then the recent one, I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan because I didn't grow up. It wasn't my thing. So when they're like, yeah, we're going to make new shit, I'm like, cool, because maybe I'll like that more because I'm going into it not knowing the characters much. I know Yoda. I mean, everybody knows Yoda, but like
Well, which
all
is
the
why
other
this will
stuff.
keep Yoda in the movies, because Yoda would be about 400 years old.
Right.
So if they
So,
wanted to have him be in the background or make an appearance, then.
yes. So I'm cool with it because it's like I don't have a stake in it. So I'm okay with it because I just don't care enough because I'm not a big enough fan. I'm sure some people are going to really be happy, and I'm sure some fans are going to be really pissed for some reason. I mean, I don't know why, but maybe I would imagine they'll go like, oh, why aren't you doing this storyline, or why aren't you doing this, whatever that I like. So,
Rich wants to know where the Bothans were in Rogue One. Well, actually, the Bothans were part of the Return of the Jedi, the second Death Star, not the original Death Star. So many Bothans died to bring you the plans to the second Death Star, not the first Death Star. Um,
you fucking nerd.
should I say that in my nerd voice? Well, actually,
Well,
it's
yeah, well,
the
see,
Return
you
of the
didn't.
Jedi. I know.
You
So
guys, hey, you guys.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like Rogue One. Uh, Force Awakens is fun, but they just need. I like Mandalorian a lot. They just need to connect their stories, and the idea of just making it up as you go ain't gonna cut it anymore. When I can watch people on the internet doing Star Wars role playing games live, and their stories are more connected and well thought out than the ones that they're spending millions of dollars, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
you know, Rich. I know
Yeah.
Rich knows. I'm harassing him, so he's like, I know Rich knows. Rich's Star Wars knowledge is pretty good. So
Is it?
yeah. So especially on the technical stuff, like I tend to know a little bit more about the making ofs, but he's definitely stronger on like technical shit. So he'll know all
No.
the. That's what we used to do the Star Wars role playing games as kids. I would come up with the stories, and I'd definitely have him run the stats and shit because I could not memorize what a DL-44 fucking blaster's fucking hit accuracy. I don't care. The fact that I even remember its nomenclature is fairly surprising. Um,
It's what?
a DL-44 is like hit
No,
accuracy, you know.
the norm. What
The
did you say? Norman?
nomenclature.
What the fuck is that?
Nomenclature is like your like the name of a weapon, like AR-15 would be a nomenclature, right? 50 cal, shit like that. It's a nomenclature. It's a military term. So, never
Yeah, but
mind,
you say
Brandon.
it like we all. You say it like we all know it. Like, yeah, of course. I got
Well,
my
I talk up,
name.
Brandon. I talk up.
I, I got my Namor Claymore Clature.
Yeah, yeah. I talk up, Brandon. I don't talk down. So, um,
Is that another military term?
no. So, join, find out, Brandon. So you could solve this problem.
Can I go to Chili's?
You could definitely still go to Chili's.
Okay, cool. Then I'm in.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Um, but yeah, they're just gonna have to put more effort in, connect things together, because fans are demanding it. You know, they're demanding that they get their shit together on that end, and I believe they're financially incentivized to do so. They built 2 theme parks, and if they want to keep that money train rolling, they're gonna have to put in
Right.
the effort. So, problem is, it can't happen overnight. It just can't. It can't even happen. Like, it's hard to make things like that at the scale of which those things are being done. To change them even in like 2 or 3 years is difficult. So I know it sounds frustrating to fans, but it's just the way it is. That's why it's important to get that tone down, get everything working, and as quickly as possible. You don't want to be in a Zack Snyder situation where everyone's clamoring for your 30 minutes of cut footage to save their film.
Dang, shots fired.
Yeah.
Throwing some sand in his eyes.
When they go to the Snyder cut, it kills me because I'm like, you had the Snyder cut of Sucker Punch. How'd that work out for you?
Damn. But what if it is way better, Rob? What if it just somehow saves the movie?
It's possible. Kingdom of Heaven had a director's cut that worked out. It's a working film. So the original release is not there.
I don't think I've
Um,
ever seen that.
but this High Republic thing, there were rumors back when The Force Awakens first came out that Zack Snyder was going to direct a Seven Samurai style movie when Yoda was like half his age. And I wonder if the ideas for this stuff started then. And if you want to believe, well, Rob, there was no truth to those rumors. Well, if you remember at the time, Zack Snyder was tweeting back at J.J. Abrams, like Star Wars shit, like he was arresting
Yeah, yeah,
stormtroopers. Yeah.
yeah. They had this little I don't know, gaff between each other doing it. Yeah, they had
Yeah.
the Gotham City PD arresting stormtroopers or whatever it was, and all that shit.
Now, whether they plan on making multiple films and books and call, a whole era out of it, I don't know. Probably not. But I think the genesis for that idea could have started there.
Hmm.
So we're talking about Justice League, right, Rich? People think Snyder's cut will somehow save that film. I'm like, no, not really. So, um, yeah. Anyone else? We got about 30 minutes or so. But anything else?
Yeah, I got tons of topics here.
Okay.
Let's just change it up a little. Let's go video gaming. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield is going to have DLC expansion pass with all new areas and Pokemon. I know you're excited.
No,
I'm
you need to
excited.
talk. This is your turn to talk. You're
Oh,
the
I'm so
Pokemon guy.
excited. I haven't finished. So, one, really loving. I got Pokemon Sword, and I'm really loving it. I'm really liking it. Um, I only get to play it maybe 20, like 10 to 20 minutes randomly throughout the week, at night before I go to bed or something. I'll grab the Switch, and sometimes I'm too tired and I just don't even play it. But, occasionally I'll be able to play it. So I haven't made it all the way through. I'm maybe halfway through, but I know that once I do finish, I will definitely be buying the DLC because they did a great job of open world fun. You can travel through different lands. It has that whole Breath of the Wild feel where you have side things you can do, but you still have your main goals. So I like it. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to buying the expansion pass. Um, People are complaining, like, oh, it's just like all the new shit DLC. It's like, yeah, it is. I'd rather listen. I bought so many Pokemon games growing up, so many. And if you're telling me like, yeah, you can keep the same one for like 2 years and you just spend maybe 10, 15, $20 instead of $60 or $40, yeah, I would do that definitely. So I like it. I don't have to buy a new disc or a new cartridge and I can just download the DLC. So once I finish the regular story, I will buy the DLC and play it.
Well, the
I love
Mario
it.
Kart DLC was fantastic on the
Yeah.
Switch. Yeah, I was just playing that with my nephew over the holidays, and I haven't played it in about a year. Won't lie,
Uh-huh.
I've been busy.
When did the DLC come out?
It came out sporadically after its launch 3 years ago. So, and they would just release they released 4 or 5 different tracks, but
Oh wow.
it
See,
was
I
it
haven't
was
played it like
circuits of tracks. So you even have like you can get they have a Hyrule track where all the coins are now rupees, and you got the motorcycle from Breath of the Wild, and there's an Excite Bike track, which is like my favorite. It's really
really.
yeah, it's all 8-bit and shit. It's fucking awesome.
What?
Yeah.
See, I bought the Excite Bike on the DLC or the store. So that's cool. That I gotta try.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild's super awesome. Rich is playing it right now in Master Mode. Fucking,
Oh, it's
he's
so
way better
great.
at games than me, man. I couldn't. I just play this shit. Yeah, I got time for that. But yeah, dude, the Hyrule track and the Excite Bike track are amazing on. So on Mario Kart, Nintendo's DLC content on the Switch so far has been their first party stuff has been really well priced, reasonably priced, and um, really good, like super good. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, with the Pokemon stuff, I think it's the smart thing. I mean, I know a lot of fans were mad that they didn't have every Pokemon available at launch, but I mean, do you have any idea how long that would take?
Right. And I knew that going into it because I mean I I'll do this thing lately where I'll bring up like there's a site called Bulbasaur, but I don't know. It has all the list of all the Pokemon and their
Nerd.
evolutions. Yeah,
You gotta
I am.
say it
I'm
in
a
the nerd voice, Brandon. Your turn.
So I pull up this website, and it's got all the Pokemon,
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh,
so I said I
uh-huh.
can't keep
Is it? Do you say Pokemon or Pokemon? Pokemon. Do you do that?
Pokemon.
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 I don't say you say it with the E, and I say it with the ah. So I say
I
Pokemon.
say it with the E to be facetious. I believe it's Pokemon, but
Yeah.
um, I know when I
I,
say Pokemon, it pisses off.
oh yeah. When you say it, I just don't comment on it because I don't want you to know it annoys me. It's like when someone adds an S to it and they say, "Are you play?" or an A? Are you playing that Pokemon? Are you playing that
Pokemon.
Pokemon? Are you playing the Pokemons?
Wouldn't that
No,
be
it's
great if there was a Pokemon DLC where you invert it and you're a monster capturing humans?
yes.
And so you can just be a Pikachu and there's Brandon at Chili's waiting
I'm
for
pretty sure
his
there's somebody. There's a
post
Attack on
workout.
Titan,
Hold on, it was Brandon at Chili's waiting for his post workout. They had these crispy rolls. What do they call them? They're like enchilada rolls.
Texas egg rolls,
Yeah,
Texas egg
yeah,
rolls.
yeah. So Brandon's waiting to get his Texas egg rolls, and you're a Pikachu, and you can capture him.
Oh, sorry, Southwestern
Southwestern.
egg
Yeah,
rolls.
yeah.
Yeah, Southwestern.
I know the Chili's menu. It hasn't changed in 20
Yeah.
years. The last time I ate there was literally 2006. Like it's hilarious.
I got. I was gonna get fajitas, but I just went with the original chicken crispers, honey mustard.
Uh,
So
You were
I
saying
didn't
about
pig out.
the DLC though.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll what I this is fucking such a I'm 34, and I'll spend tonight, right before when I get off the phone with you or get off the cast, and I'm gonna lay down and for bed. I'll pull up the list of evolutions, and I can't be the only one that does this, but maybe I am. I'll sit there and I'll raid a cave, and when you raid a cave in this game, you get like these candies that boost your Pokemon levels, so your stats go up, right? And occasionally it also evolves the Pokemon or gives them certain moves. Well, I will save my game before right after I raid the cave, and then I'll spend my candies on certain Pokemon to see them either evolve or what their new moves will be. And if I don't like it, I'll exit out of the game and restart where I was before I saved it, and then try it on a different one. And I'll pull up the list of all the Pokemon, their evolutions, and see if I like it. And
Yeah.
I'll spend more time just evolving and messing with all the different stuff like that than actually playing the game. So I just like messing with the stats and the evolutions and seeing how they look and how my
Did you do
squad
that on your
looks.
Twitch channel?
I can't put Twitch on. I don't think you can put Nintendo on the Twitch unless you pay or whatever it is. Plus, I'm in bed. Nobody wants to see me in bed. It's not a
That's
I'm
the
laying
most
I'm
true.
laying there with
Nothing more truer has ever been uttered on this
yeah. You'll
show.
just see me laying there with my double chins, looking at you, just like hey, low
Uh,
angle. Just not a good look. So yeah, but I'm excited. I know, and I didn't realize either that all the Pokemon weren't in it until I had to look it up. Because I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, why can't I find like a Bulbasaur or whatever? You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I had to look, and like, oh yeah, they're not all there. But with
But
the
what I
launch,
was saying is this is a good way to you can add all the monsters in, but if there isn't any content to go with it, you know what I mean? Like you can't just
right?
add 3,000 monsters and have like one map and be like, there, these are your
Oh,
like
it'd be insane.
right, like so this is an excellent way for them to build out, iterate. Hopefully they also like fine tune the engine and the graphics and optimize as they go along too. Like this is the smart way. And look, it's per support the DLC, folks, if you like this shit, because if they were doing a subscription based fucking thing, you'd freak. Like this is the perfect thing, like. And I don't think it'll be overpriced. They do a really good job over there of not, you know, they could. I mean, they really could be like, this is gonna be $60, but they won't, So, and that that Pokemon Go dude still gets content. I think they made $1 billion this year. I was reading a story on that.
Damn.
Yeah, my wife plays the shit out of Pokemon Go.
They just, you know what? I never played it, never liked it, just because if I have my phone, I'm working. You know what I mean? You call me, and I can't even look at my phone. I have to put my headset on.
I'm like, why can't
So
Brandon talk at work? I'm calling.
yeah, yeah, I can't. So I can't be on my phone walking around looking for Pokemon. As I do it. So I never got into Pokemon Go because I don't. I can't. I'm at work all day. I can't just be like, oh, let me pull out my phone and walk around my shop and oh, there's a, get the hell out of the way. There's a Bulbasaur. I need it. So, but I saw they have a Pokemon Buddy or Pokemon something new for Pokemon Go, and I didn't further research it because I
They
just
do stuff
saw
all
it.
the time. They have events. Like we go down to this park and like it's funny. It'll be snowing the middle of dead winter, and like 100 people show up at this park of all various ages, shapes, and sizes, bro. Like there's very wide demographic. And I don't mean physically. I mean just not being a dick, but very diverse group of people. And then they go away after this event, like, and they all team in and fight some crazy monsters, and they all check to see what they got, and then they all leave. And I've done that several times this past year. It's crazy. So yeah, he goes to raids, and look, it's a lot of fun for people, and I think that that's a good thing. Even if it's not for me, I'm not. It's not my game, but I'm like, this is cool. If this were Dragon Quest, I'd, of course, there'd be like me and four other fucking people. So it's not even, you know. But it would be cool. Imagine like if they did that with Mario Kart, where we could all show up in Mario Kart battle. Like, but even if it wasn't like against one another, it was like, what if the regions were playing in groups? Like imagine if they had like 100-man Mario Kart races, right? And you and everyone that shows up is racing against other people who show up. You know what I mean? Like the regions. Like
Yeah.
that would be cool. So, yeah, that's it's a more positive thing. The Pokemon. I think that game, the two games, Sword and Shield, got some flack, but I don't think that flack has hurt its sales or obviously not the content.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think it's cool. So no complaints from Rob. All right, Brandon. What else?
How much time do we got?
A few minutes. I'm just trying to get this done.
Let's end on a. So we're gonna need. I don't know if we'll do this all the time, but if we did, I was thinking about finding a weird story each mega show. So not on the regular stream, but just a weird nerdy story. Like, could this be true? Did Rob hear about this? So it's like weird story time, and then like maybe like rainbow glitter sound, like la, 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 la.
Okay, well you're gonna have to buy that music. So
I'm not gonna buy it. So we're not. I'm just gonna go every time now. I'm just gonna go ready.
this, hold on.
It's time for weird story time.
Here we go.
La, 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 la.
No, I got the music. Do-do-do-do. It's time for weird story time with Mega Potato.
There we go.
Say, it's me.
It's me, Mega Potato. It's a Mia, Mega Potato. So, tell me if you heard this story, Rob, if it sounds fictional or factual or any other word that I can't think of to say
Fictional
right
or factional? That'd be a good segment too.
now. Fictional or factual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you hear about the oh man, I can't say this word.
what's factional? Your inability to fucking read. Like
No, I can't. I'm trying to say the word, and it's just my brain ain't. Dysentery. Did you hear? I typed it wrong on my computer, and that's what threw me off. I got too wrapped up in the weird story time song, and I typed it wrong on my computer.
much like Oregon Trail, you died of dysentery.
Yes. So, did you hear about the dysentery that happened on set of Raiders of the Lost Ark? Did you hear about this story? So, apparently, it went around big time. Harrison Ford had it really bad. And that's why a lot of the lines and script were shortened because he spent so much time in his trailer bathroom or powder room because they had to shoot quickly, improvise, and then they had to take.
Well, they did talk about how he was sick. So the whole sequence where the guy comes out, does his moves, and he shoots him is because Harrison was sick that day. Like I've heard that
Right.
he was really sick that day. No one ever went. He had Montezuma's revenge. Like no one, like.
Right. And I was reading, which I posted. There's a link in the in our things, which you don't have to go to, but yeah, that it was the whole thing. dysentery on the set, and the director, um,
Steven Spielberg.
Steve Spielberg, didn't get it or anything because he brought like a whole bunch of SpaghettiOs and things like that. He was eating,
That I
his
do
own
believe.
yeah, so he was eating all his own canned SpaghettiOs and things like that. And yeah, like you said, that scene is one of the more cemented scenes where he had to like go use the bathroom. So they were just like, no, no, no. How about I just shoot the guy? And they're like, all right. So that was one
Steven
of the script
Spielberg didn't get
changes.
sick because he brought SpaghettiOs. That's
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, that's the story after 3 months of shooting in that blazing heat and in that part of the world, and it just, I guess he had a terrible bout of dysentery,
He
and
drank local water is what it was.
yeah, so
They didn't have
that's a
access to.
weird story.
So yeah, it's funny.
So I figure if anybody would know, I mean, you might know some of that, or at least heard
Well,
of
I
that,
know
because
like Amblin. So Spielberg had a studio called Amblin Entertainment. Kathleen Kennedy used to run it in the '80s, and she produced a lot of his films, including Raiders. So um, there were microphones set up all over the camp, all over this. It's not really a campus, but it was bigger than an office, right? Like a building. And so he would be having a meeting with someone, and then he would just say, "Hey, hold on, you want a popsicle?" And he'd go, "Hey, can we get 2 popsicles?" And then out of nowhere, someone would show up with popsicles because. And I heard that story, and I'm like, I mean, and now I'm like, oh, SpaghettiOs and pop. It's almost like maybe Michael Jackson. That's why him and Michael Jackson got along, right? There's big kid time, right? Like,
yeah.
must have been cool. Spielberg in the '80s must have just been a lot of fun, right? Like legitimate childish fun,
Hmm.
SpaghettiOs and popsicles and making ET movies and punching Nazis and shit. Like, it's hilarious.
So that is a weird story. I thought you'd get a kick out of, and I thought that'd be a good way to end the cast.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good way to end the cast. All right, everybody. So I'm almost done with this. I'm just going to finish this offline because I want to go spend time with my puppy. I'll still record all this. So tomorrow we're going to be doing. We're going to do that because Brandon's wife's out of town, right, Brandon?
Uh, Part of the day tomorrow. What time are you trying to?
Later. So we'll. I want to record another podcast tomorrow. We're going to do the speed lines for the Lana Luca cover. That's about 90 minutes. So save some of the stories for then too, Brandon. Because once we talk about the
Okay.
art, we're gonna need some of those stories to fill in 90 minutes.
All right.
So it's getting there. I'll wrap this up. This has been a weird week, and then Monday, we're gonna start with the plushies down here. There's gonna be Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, Stan Sakai, Usagi Ojimbo, Toka Razar, Splinter, TCRI, Canister. That is gonna be Tatsu. Remember Tatsu from the movies? And
Yes.
this is going to be Metalhead. That's going to be Raph. That's going to be Slash. This is going to be Baxter Stockman plushie pack and the pinball game and some pizza slices. That's it. That is it. So we'll be back soon. And that's it. I'm out of here. Brandon, anything else you want to
I got nothing.
say?
I mean, wait, hold on. Oh
That's
yeah.
yeah. All right. All right. Talk about it later. Thanks everybody. Bye. Peace.
Bye.